Hell's Kitchen is scandalous. But things took an unexpected turn in season 20 when one contestant decided to cheat. What happened is, Gordon Ramsay was all set for the 300th dinner service of Hell's Kitchen, and he wanted it to be extraordinary. To spice things up, he even invited VIPs to both kitchens. Now, the blue team had the honor of serving none other than the legendary Mike Tyson and his family. I mean, how cool is that, right? But guess what? The contestants were under tremendous pressure. However, the team was pumped up and ready to blow their guests away. Little did they know that this night would push them to their limits in the most unexpected way. Right from the start, disaster struck.
Seriously, guys?
Food wasn't coming out in time, and when it finally did, it turned out to be a hot mess. It was either raw or undercooked or overdone. You name it.
I'm paired with Emily, and I am nervous. She doesn't eat meat.
You could see how Ramsay's face turned redder than a lobster. This dude was beyond frustrated. Witnessing the sheer incompetence in his kitchen is no joke, y'all. It was like a comedy of errors that just wasn't funny. But you know what? Ramsay genuinely felt sorry for Mike Tyson. The man came here to have some good food and have a memorable evening with his family. But look what happened. He was served a plate full of disappointment, and it never showed signs of getting any better. As the dinner service went on, the mistakes just kept piling up. It was pure chaos, and as much as the team was crumbling under the pressure, Ramsay's anger was reaching the boiling point. Now hold on to your chef hats, because this is where it gets ridiculous. Matthew Francis, in a desperate attempt to check if the chicken was cooked, pulled out a freaking tool. And guess what he went for? A thermometer. Can you believe it? In a professional kitchen. And his teammates couldn't believe their eyes. Dude, can't you even tell if the chicken is done without relying on a thermometer? And you think you can run Ramsay's restaurant as the head chef? I mean, where is your head at, man? The problem here was that confidence and experience are some serious secret ingredients for any chef, but Matthew lacked both of them big time. Turns out, he wasn't even a professional chef, but a food blogger. Like, what? That's a freaking joke. No wonder he resorted to using a thermometer. Poor guy wasn't cut out for the high-pressure kitchen life. But seriously, how did Matthew even make it onto the show? He should be sitting in a restaurant, rating food, not sweating it out behind the already heated counters of Hell's Kitchen. That's just not a good look, Matthew. I mean, one small thing gave away a lot about himself, and to cheat Ramsay is the worst of them all. But this next contestant made mistakes in literally all the freaking episodes. What's worse is that she didn't even learn anything from it. And what more can you expect from someone like this? Of course, she had to cheat. Sabrina Grisey of season 6 messed up all of her dishes. The mushrooms were ice cold, the pork and lamb were raw, but despite all that, she still had the audacity to claim that they were perfect.
They were medium well.
That is not medium well.
When a customer sent back a dish for being raw inside, she even had the nerve to blame it on the customer. I mean, seriously? Surprisingly, many viewers had a different perspective. They believe that while Ramsay has high standards, it's absurd to blame the chef when the meat, which initially passed through Ramsay himself, comes back undercooked. It's true that the contestants are the ones cooking it, but it's Ramsay's duty to check and serve the food according to his standards. Ultimately, the responsibility lies with him to decide whether it should be served or not. But you know what? I don't agree. It's just that Ramsay has so much faith in the contestants, and well, he's still a human at the end of the day, and as you know, he's got a ton of work at his hands already. So I don't think it's fair to blame him. Anyway, I'm glad both the teams were named joint losers, and Sabrina faced the possibility of elimination. But what do you know? She got lucky. Back in the dorms, Sabrina thought she had escaped a disaster. But who knew she was gonna cheat in the next dinner challenge? By the way, this is what happened.
What is this? Look at me. They got a fresh garnish with a dirty pan. So the garnish is left in there, the residual bits of crap.
Yep, she got caught cooking fresh garnishes in a dirty pan. Like, who does that? So here's the likely explanation I came up with. You see, Sabrina was no fool. It's just that after a string of mistakes and obviously subpar performance, she wanted desperately to impress Ramsay. And how do you do that? By sending out your dish to pass at lightning speed. However, that doesn't mean you can take shortcuts, Sabrina. In a rush to present her dish, she used a dirty pan instead of getting a fresh one. Well, what can I say? That's absolutely nasty. I mean, the flavors and ingredients would get all mixed up, and you know what? It's not even about the flavor anymore. It's just not the right thing to do. Like, that's one of the most basic ethical rules for a chef to follow. Ramsay was so frustrated that he called her out for being lazy. Despite that, the red team somehow managed to win the service. Sabrina lucked out once again, because otherwise, she would have been eliminated from the competition immediately. She literally kept pushing Ramsay's patience up the wall. And I think at this point, the customers and the viewers had enough of her antics as well. But here comes the greatest chef of them all.
My name's Raj.
How's it going back there?
The man who brought a ton of disorder and of course a load of entertainment to season 8. And yes, he did manage to annoy everyone around him. From his teammates to Ramsay and unbelievably, even sous chef Scott. Do I even have to introduce you to Raj Branston? I mean, are you even a Hell's Kitchen fan if you don't know this guy? Dude, Raj took screwing up to a whole new level, and it's impossible not to mention him when talking about cheaters. Well, you know he was up to a lot of things, but here's the best part. Right in the midst of all the chaos, guess what Raj was doing? He was actually snacking on something. Can you believe it? Now tell me, how many people do you think might have the audacity to do this? He couldn't resist munching on the rejected fish while his teammates were practically begging him to stop. Talk about having an insatiable appetite. Of course, Ramsay caught him in the act, and here's what happened next.
And it looks delicious, so I just, ate it. No, I mean, I just took a quick little bite.
Many viewers supported his strategy to eat all the food which didn't pass, because at least it's not going into the trash, and you can't help but notice how careful he was to get the deed over and done with. Just like this viewer mentioned, Raj literally shoved that last chunk into his mouth so fast before Ramsay could see and yell at him. And well, look at this next user, who thinks it's great to finally see someone appreciating good food whether it's perfect or not, only because they love to eat. Wait. Do you mean you'd relish food even if it's undercooked or charred? Okay, someone please invite this user over to Hell's Kitchen because one Raj isn't enough. Jokes aside, remember how Raj thought it would be a fantastic idea to start cooking 3 Dover soles even before the order was called? Obviously, Ramsay was frustrated with his idea. I mean, why cook something that wasn't even asked for? What if someone orders a new batch? What would you do then? And unfortunately for Raj, that's exactly what happened. And sadly for him, there's no more left to cook. This turned the entire Blue Kitchen upside down. And what followed was utter chaos. Ramsay was so mad that he asked Raj to do this.
Get out there and tell him you're dragging 2.
But instead of accepting his mistake like any normal person would, Raj decided to argue. And if that wasn't enough, he picked a fight with sous chef Scott. Well, the good news is that the blue team didn't have to tolerate his presence for much longer, because he was eliminated that very night. What a performance that was. Or the lack thereof, should I say. That was like absolute chaos and entertainment all rolled into one. And who suffered the most? The blue team, of course. I love how people are joking about Ramsay not being able to get rid of Raj for several episodes because he was told not to do so. It's funny to imagine Ramsay sitting in his office crossing off days on the calendar as the season went on, until one day, Raj was suddenly gone. But Raj wasn't the only one who locked horns with sous chef Scott. Because what happened next in this heart-pounding episode was unimaginable. One chef pulled off an audacious trick on the sous chef, but ended up making a fool out of himself. Well, you can say that it takes some serious guts, but the big question is, will he be able to get away with it? Alright, Luis Petroza, who was in charge of the appetizer station during the dinner service, remained a pillar of support and skill for his fellow chefs in the midst of all tensions. I mean, this man saved the team's sorry backside more than I can count. But then, Lou Ross Adrian made a mistake that resulted in sous chef Scott giving him a good earful. So, here's what happened. When Lou Ross sent overcooked steaks back to the kitchen, Petroza fearlessly jumped in to help, desperately searching the kitchen for perfectly cooked steaks but returning empty-handed. However, he didn't give up. No, Petroza was a chef who took risks. With nothing to lose, he pulled off this daring move.
It's not gonna work.
Oh, this is the only shot that we got.
You see how he simply sliced off the burnt edges of the beef? It was a bold move, that one, and surprisingly, it turned out to be a good one. But Lou Ross didn't have faith in Petroza's unconventional technique. Little did he know that Petroza was a master of such tricks. In the end, Petroza's ingenuity paid off, and he successfully fooled sous chef Scott into believing that the steaks were perfectly cooked. You have to witness this moment of triumph. As the night wore on, Petroza's energy and determination never wavered. He remained focused on his duties and was always ready to lend a hand to his teammates. Undoubtedly, Petroza was a culinary hero. A shining star in the fiery chaos of the kitchen for his team. However, I can't ignore the fact that he did cheat on the show. Just like this next contestant who believed he could successfully deceive others with his lies. This dude reminded me of con artists who manipulate and cheat in their own game, and when they get caught, they try to hide the truth. But hello, Ramsay is the absolute master of the game, and trying to outwit him is challenging the GOAT. So, if I recall right, in the second episode of the 9th season, things got intense in the Blue Kitchen during the dinner service. This dude named Brendan Heavey was in charge of the fish station. When Ramsay called for the ticket, Heavey had to whip up some fresh sea bass. But here's where things get juicy. As the orders started pouring in, Ramsay had this sneaky feeling that Heavey was trying to pull a fast one and serve the same old sea bass he cooked earlier. Like, what the heck, man? That's just nasty. Ramsay straight up confronted Heavey and asked him if he actually made a fresh batch. And guess what? Heavey had the guts to lie right to Ramsay's face.
You didn't start a fresh one?
Yes, I did, chef.
Damn. At this point, I'm thinking maybe Raj was better than Heavey. Anyway, neither of them could fool Ramsay. The chef wasn't having any of it. He demanded that Heavey show him the so-called trash where he threw away the old sea bass. And surprise, surprise, Heavey couldn't find it. What a liar. I could practically see the color drain from Heavey's face when he got caught red-handed. It was priceless. And Ramsay wasn't about to let him off the hook. He grilled Heavey once again, and you can witness the drama unfold right here. Feeling the heat and with no other choice, Heavey finally confessed that, yep,
Chef, yes.
he had indeed served the old sea bass. Couldn't he have just done the same thing earlier? It would have saved him from this total facepalm moment. And oh, you know what Ramsay did? He didn't give him a pat on the back for his honesty. Instead, he did this.
You do that to me one more time, trust me, fuck the elimination. I'll send you out there and then.
Ouch. But hey, the show must go on, right? Ramsay told the blue team to start over from scratch. As for Heavey, well, he had a special surprise waiting for him. Let's just say it wasn't a happy ending after all. For some reason today, I simply can't get over the fact that a few contestants tried to pull a fast one on sous chef Scott. Like this genius from season 1 who thought he could impress Ramsay with his shortcut skills. Well, let's just say it didn't quite go as planned. And it's not like his cooking skills were anything to write home about anyway. Average or mediocre would be a description of him, really. The thing is, after the blue team lost the blind taste test, they got hit with a punishment that was a double whammy. Not only did they have to scrub the entire mountain of dirty dishes in the restaurant, but they also had the privilege of unlocking the storage room during the busy service. Sounds like a piece of cake, right? But our friend Andrew Benito, being the brainiac that he is, decided he didn't have time for all that unlocking nonsense. He thought he could just crack the code and save everyone some precious minutes. So what was his idea exactly? Take a look at this. I mean, why bother following rules when you can cheat your way through it, right? And, well, guess who caught him red-handed? It wasn't Ramsay this time, but sous chef Scott. And just like you'd expect, someone wasn't very pleased. Can you imagine the shock and awe? Even sous chef Scott, who's seen it all, couldn't believe the audacity of our hero here. And it's pretty safe to say that things got pretty heated.
Don't rig it so it works for you. You blew it, pay the consequences, got it?
Sous Chef Scott, known for his calm and collected demeanor, lost his cool like never before, and what a spectacle it was. It was a sight to behold, I tell ya. Many users claim that Chef Scott is low-key more terrifying than Ramsay when he gets mad. And honestly, I can't argue with that. It's the truth. So, what do you think happened next? Well, Sous Chef Scott took that tray of chicken and put it right back where it belonged, in the storage room. Genius plan foiled. The whole team had to start from scratch thanks to our dear Andrew. Isn't it great when one person's stupidity affects everyone else? Oh, and let's not forget the cherry on top. Andrew ended up being one of the lucky few who got punished for doing the punishment wrong. Talk about a stroke of luck. And what an epic fail it was. It's truly a masterpiece. In the end, Andrew's shortcut turned out to be a major disaster, and he paid the price for cheating. Some contestants take things to the brink just to have their way, but at least Andrew didn't make a deadly decision. He was only trying to get fresh ingredients sooner. Unlike Joanna Dunn, who whipped up an entire dish out of rancid, rotting crab. And what's more, she wanted Ramsay to believe that she had no clue it was rotten. I mean, how on earth could she not smell the putrid stench of decay that Ramsay detected from a mile away? Did you see how she passed through Ramsay when he called her out on it? Just look at her go, man. She had the audacity to walk past him like as if he was invisible. Who does she think she is, this Joanna? But whatever it may be, it's for sure scary. And Ramsay had to ask her this.
We sent one out already.
No, Chef, we have.
Thank God for that. You'll kill someone!
Someone commented that they would completely lose their desire to eat if they overheard someone in the kitchen yelling, "You'll kill somebody!" Oh yeah, I'd walk out of the restaurant right away. Because who knows? They might be talking about your order. Meanwhile, Ramsay was so furious that he had to take action, which is why he came up with an idea, because this calls for a serious punishment. Yep, that's what she deserved. I mean, this wasn't a joke. That crab could have easily sent someone to the emergency room that night. Some people even questioned how long that stinky crab had been sitting there before anyone actually noticed it. And how on earth did none of the experienced and skilled chefs working around the station realize it was there? Another person stated that they firmly believe after witnessing the crab disaster that there might be intentional acts of sabotage to test the contestants' ability to detect it. They couldn't fathom the idea that Ramsay would allow borderline spoiled ingredients to be delivered to one of his esteemed restaurants. Personally, I think Hell's Kitchen is as real as it gets, but hey, I'm curious to know what you guys think. Don't forget to smack that like, subscribe, and turn on my post notifications. Because who knows, there may be more chefs who break rules just to sabotage their rivals in the future. Also, if you thought this video was crazy, then you have to check out this next one right here. It's even better, you guys.